Good morning everybody, thanks for joining me again. Well, autumn's well and truly here, so I decided to come to one of Dartmoor's woodlands and see whether the colours had started to change. As you can see, it's a glorious morning and the brackens have already started to turn and they look good with these small hawthorn bushes. As for the woodland itself, it's just started to turn and you can start to see some redder colours in there, but it's only just started, so let's have a scout around and see what we can find. Well, as you can see, it's warmed up a bit. I had to take my jacket off. I'm in the woodland now. As you can see, there's some big trees, lots of boulders and fallen wood, and there's quite a few sort of twisted, stunted oaks and birch trees, especially along the edge of the woodland here. And the sun's coming through, giving some nice light. A little bit harsh in some places, but I'm sure I can find something here. Right, let's see what we can find. So I found my first shot in the woodlands. Don't know if you can make out behind me, but some of the local sheep have decided to join me. So I couldn't resist just a quick shot with these twisted branches and the lovely autumn colours. Always make a good subject, sheep. So what's happening is the sun's shining through the canopy, backlighting some ferns. So let's have a look at this. So I framed up this fern. It was being backlit by the sun. So I've taken a shot 80th of a second on the tripod, f3.2 just to blur out the background, and I want a little bit of depth of field so the fern's in focus. ISO 100. Let's see how that's come out. Well, I had to be careful with the depth of field. This shot was actually at f2.8, as wide open as this lens will go. So focus in carefully and just wait for the light to illuminate the fern and give me that lovely blurred dark background. Well, I found another shot, but I am breaking some rules here. I'm shooting straight into the sun with these trees backlit. Obviously I'm using one of the trunks to shade me from the sun. Quite like the composition, and I quite like the backlit ferns and moss, but we'll see once I process this whether this looks any good. What I'm trying to do is just give a feeling of what this woodland is like. So I'm focusing on the nearest tree. I'm at f11, got 1.3 of a second, ISO 100. Let's see what it looks like. Well, I wasn't sure about this shot when I was taking it, but I do like the roots that come in from both the left and right bottom corners and lead up to the tree, and those two in the background. But then there was a surprise. Always tread lightly in the forest. You never know what you might wake up. Well, once I'd seen Smaug lying in wait, it was easy in post-processing just to change that closed eye into an open one. Hope you like it. Well, I've just moved slightly. I'm still at this same collection of trees. I've just moved around to get them all into the shot with this boulder. Not sure if it works. More of a sort of record shot, really. Let's see how that comes out. A bit of a record shot, just to see what I could get from different angles. I still like the way the three trunks are arranged in the shot, and I like the colour of the ferns, but maybe one for another day. I kept walking past this tree thinking there must be a composition. You can see how it sort of snakes through the shot. There's nothing around it. Problem is, there's no light on it. The light's on the background, so it doesn't stand out. Nice composition if the light was better. I'm going to take the shot anyway, and I might sort of zoom out a little bit and make it a square. But maybe one to come back to later on sometime. Again, this is one of those shots that would have been better on a foggy day with some mist in the background to separate the tree from the rest of the woodland. As you can see, the light in the background and the tree seem to blend in together. So I did try a square crop, and this time in post-processing I've taken a little bit of the colour out of the background surrounding the tree, which just makes the tree stand out a little bit more. But as I say, some misty conditions would have been better. Well, I've been walking around the woodland for quite some time now. I don't think I'm going to find any more shots today. So I think I'll go out to the edge of the wood and see if I can find some nice shots there. Right, let's go. Well, I'm just trying one last shot. I saw this group of 4 trees as I'm walking out. There's a lot of light on them. But what I think I'll try and do is do a shallow depth of field and actually make the background dark, focus in on the trees and see what happens. Well, I actually quite like this shot in the end. I like the composition, especially the tree on the right hand side and the roots how they curve in. It's always good to experiment, and days like this force you into trying new things. Not a bad shot. Well, I'll come back out of the woodland onto the edge here, but boy is it warm and so bright. Blue sky, feels like the middle of summer. Just a slight cool breeze, which is lovely. Well, I found this tree. Not absolutely sure what it is. I might take one of the leaves and try and identify it later. But as you can see, the bracken around it is starting to turn, and the leaves on the tree, there's splashes of yellow starting to change. So I thought it might be nice to try and get a pano, not of the whole tree, but just of this base section here, and see what it looks like. Well, rather than take the leaves off the tree, there we go. As you can see, there's also some little catkins on the end there. It's actually part of a group of 3 trees. This is the one that's changing colour. The other one is an oak tree. Also, as you can see, there's some lovely colours in the bracken as well. Okay, let's take this shot. Well, I'm at f11, ISO 50, 1/40th of the second, 2-second timer. Well, not everything works. Not really happy with this shot at all. I had what I thought was a great idea, but I don't like the colours in the end, and there's not much of a composition. Never mind. Well, I've tried to get a little bit closer, but I don't think it really works, so I'm going to move on. I can see some birch trees over there, so let's go and have a look at them. Well, as you can see, I've come over to these 3 birch trees, trying to find the best composition. I've been walking around them for a while. As always, where the light is coming from is the most important thing. The sun's coming from this direction, giving me some side light and a little bit on the front. And I've chosen that position, so I've separated the 3 trees. Let's try that, and then have a move and see what else I can find. This is a composition that really works well. The 3 trees evenly spaced, and the branches and the horizon on the top third, and there's a square crop. Really works quite well. Nice colours and the trees standing out. I'm going to try something a little bit different. I've opened up the aperture to f2.8. I'm at ISO 50. I've had to speed the shutter speed up to keep the histogram right. And I've focused in on this first tree, which should slowly blur out the background. Let's see what that looks like. With the aperture wide open at 2.8, it's slightly blurred out the background, but really made certainly the first tree pop out of the photograph, and has added some nice depth of field. This was the first composition I saw, but as you can see, I'm shooting almost into the light again. There is some side light on the right hand side, but I like this composition with the bracken and the woodland behind. So if I try and get the exposure right, again I'm at ISO 50, f11, I'm on 1/6 of a second. Let's try that. So I'm going to try that at some different shutter speeds. Let's make it darker for a start. And then let's make it a bit brighter, just in case I need to bring some detail out in the trunks of these trees. Okay, let's see what we can make of that. In the end, I just chose one of the shots. Didn't need to blend anything together, but it's always good to take bracketed shots like that. By what I mean is some slightly overexposed and underexposed, just to get all the detail you need. And I took one more shot, just moving around, getting more of the sun on the trees. Just thought these two looked good standing out from the background. My last shot of the day. Well, I've just come down into the woodland a little bit just to get out of the sun. As you can see, it's quite bright. A lot of dappled shade coming through. I think I'm going to call it a day, at least filming wise. Maybe concentrate on the photography. I might have another quick scout around. I can see some fungi up on some of the trees, so I might look for some of them. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for joining me. If you did, hit that subscribe button and give me a like. And if you hit the little bell thing, that will notify you every time I put a YouTube video on. Anyway, thanks again. But for now, cheerio.